Hello and what's up guys to a new YouTube video where I will be talking about Bitcoin and how I can't believe it, but what did I say before? We actually hit exactly where I said there would be resistance and a good shorting point. So actually, if you look at this chart, I actually call this around here. Once we've broken this area, we were sitting around this right here. And I said there was going to be resistance around the 28.7 just because of this here, this here, this here. All of this resistance perfectly aligns with that. And it made perfect sense to actually short this position. So if you are actually playing futures, this was the call right here to actually short. As you do see, we did have a confirmation here of a little bounce just based off of this wick. And you can see we are kind of trending in a sideways action. So what do you think will happen next? Well, we have to look at possible scenarios. Is this a bull flag where we'll break up to the next level? Or is this going to be a breakdown, fake out, back to death around this area? Well, so let's look at it. See what we have here. So basically, let me just clean these up here. Yeah, so as you see here, what I do believe can potentially happen is we have our first leg here, second leg here, and potentially in a bullish scenario, we could test somewhere around 30K. I do believe, honestly, that is the last leg of what we can potentially get before we do retrace lower. This is obviously my opinion, what I think can be the case. So what I'm aiming for is somewhere around this area here, around 30K. Why do I think around 30K? Well, you can see a lot of price action here, here, here that are all indicating to this same zone here. Hitting here and retracing, it's going to be really bad. But just based on these few candles, if you do look in, let's say, the 4-hour chart, generally I love playing with the 4-hour chart. It kind of gives you a better indication of what's happening next. And that's kind of why I'm going for that whole idea that it's potentially a scenario where 30K is the option to go for. So if you look at it here and you zoom into more detail, you can see that there's a lot of wicks on the bottom side while still having really small wicks on the top side, which means it's kind of curling in the direction you'd want it to go. If you actually open up and bring up the RSI, you can see that our RSI is slowly going down. We're cooling off before potentially going for another run. You can see we had a lot of divergence in terms of the RSI for the past 4 hours here versus here. So what actually is RSI divergence? That is when the RSI is actually heading downwards while the price is heading upward. What does that mean? That means there is a potential price drop, and that's what happened here, right? There could be more, of course, to lead down to around 25, 26 area. We'll see as it progresses. But I do believe we have a potential chance at 30K. So although 30K is pretty close, it really is going to be that next try. And if it does fail or if it does hit there, I do believe we will print a lower RSI with a higher market cap price. So let's say around 30K. So let's say we do hit 30K. Let's say we hit it here. That means this RSI would probably be around here, and it's going to be diverging, meaning that the strength isn't actually matching the price, and that means there's a potential drop. And that's what I feel is the next step here. So let's look at the bearish scenarios. What are the actual bearish scenarios? See, as a bullish scenario, I'm not too keen on anything higher than 30 to 33K. But in terms of bearish scenarios, you can see that we have been actually pounded down really hard around the 29 and rejected here. What I first will like to see is the retest here at around 24. 1949 to 25 to see if we can actually get a bounce here. If we do drop below here, it's going to be kind of tough because we're going to go back into the 1900s, right? If this does not support this hold, this does not hold, this is a really strong hold. If it does not hold, it can hit back into the 20s. And that does mean 16 is close, and that means 12 is close, and that means 0 is close. So it really depends on these certain levels. Make sure you're keeping an eye on these levels because these are the key levels that you should be watching out for, you know, around the 24 to 19 area. And if you do see a little bounce or a high volume hit up, then there's potential upside in that sense. But we will see as we head up or down in this market. But I do feel like around this area should be our next price point at around 30,000. So let's see how we do and how well we hit these numbers. So as you know, I've been quite accurate with hitting the bottom here, hitting the top here. Let's see if we can actually continue that with a potential upside here, or worst case scenario, you know, downside here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and definitely check out my YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos like this.